Yo guys, Josh Spurs 123 here for another video, and it is back. It is time for my Premier League predictions 1920 season. And before I start, I'd just like to say I am filming this a day before all the Premier League games start. And I'll show you the date of what I'm filming it, the 9th of August. So I'm not cheating. This will be uploaded a week after all the Premier League games finish though. So it seemed like I have been cheating and I've seen all the games and it helps me out a little bit, even though it doesn't really. But yeah, I'm uploading it a week after all the Premier League games play, but I've actually filmed it a day before all the Premier League games play. Apart from one when Liverpool beat Norwich 4-1, but that doesn't really change much. So I just thought I'd clear that up. So I'm doing my Premier League predictions now. I am not going to talk for more than like a minute for each team really, because I don't want it to be a long video like I've done before. And what most people do, I want to keep it quite quick. I might say a few transfers briefly, but not really. I'm just going to give my team very quickly, very briefly, and you can say in the comments, like, why did you put them there? And I'll answer it in more detail there. But yeah, let's just get straight into my Premier League predictions. It's 11:17, Saturday, 10th of August. I got the date wrong. It's actually the 10th, not the 9th. But yeah. That doesn't matter though either way, because at the end of the day, like, one Premier League game's played, not all of them, and you know, even if they did all play, I'm still guessing my predictions for the whole 38 game for each team season. So yeah, let's just get straight into the predictions. All right, in 20th, I've got all teams written here. I'm going with a popular option for in the bottom three, Sheffield United. They've done well to be promoted, obviously, but no one really knows their team and players. They've signed like a couple players and stuff, but I don't really know any of them really. And they've not lost a lot as far as I know. But honestly, I just see no quality in their team. We might be proven wrong, but honestly, I'm being realistic. Premier League is a big step up from the Championship. I think Sheffield United are going to be rock bottom in 20th. Sorry, Sheffield United fans. I mean, they did bring in players like McBurney from Swansea and Jagielka, experienced centre-back and stuff, Ravel Morrison and stuff, but I just don't think it's going to be enough for their team, really. If I'm looking down, it's because I've written down the league table for me, my prediction, and a few of the transfers here. But like I said, I'm not going to say a few of the transfers. I'm not even going to describe each player a lot, just a couple of them for each team at most. But yeah, moving on. Now, 19th place, I'm going with Brighton. They were lucky to stay out last season, and I just think, you know, they just about did it last year. I don't think it'll be enough for them this year. They haven't got a good quality. They haven't got a lot of quality in their team. They brought in Mapai, a Championship striker who looks quite good. Trossard, a winger, and Aaron Moore with Premier League experience. They lost Knockout, doesn't mean much. So they've brought in okay players. I don't think it's going to be enough. It's Premier League we're talking about. So sorry, Brighton fans. I think you're finishing 19th. In 18th place, just about getting relegated, Southampton. Going for Southampton because, again, like Brighton, they were close to going down, but they haven't strengthened too much. They haven't lost too much. But I think it's about time teams like Southampton, you know, their time is done, and we might see them in the future, but I just think Southampton's time is done. I mean, they brought in Ings, a striker, Che Adams, a good striker as well and stuff. And they only lost Charlie Austin target, so they don't mean too much, but I just think Palace, I think Southampton are going to finish 18th. But mentioning the word Palace just a second ago, by accident, I think Palace will just miss out on relegation in 17th. And the reason being is because they've solidly been in the Premier League for over 5 years now. They've been really, really good and consistent. Who's the player they've been keeping the whole time? Wilfried Zaha. And they've still kept him. They've actually still kept Wilfried Zaha. But I don't know if it's still going to be enough because they haven't strengthened really in their team anymore. And they've lost a couple players. I don't know, really. Like, they've brought in players, experienced like McCarthy, a midfielder, Ayew, Gary Cahill, centre-back, Camarasa, a midfielder, he's quite good. But they've lost Wan-Bissaka as well, so they've lost Wan-Bissaka, kept Zaha, but they're not really strengthened in their transfers, really, so not good enough. But they're going to stay up just and have to fix it for next season. Now, in 16th, I'm going with Burnley. People might think, you know, they're a bit higher than that, but they keep dropping down each season, really, after they came 7th a couple years ago and then went into Europa League football. But no, I think they're going to be 16th. They're going to just about stay up a little bit. They haven't really done much in the transfer window. You know, they bought Jay Rodriguez. He's okay. Eric Peters. He's an okay mid defender. He's an alright defender, but not much done. They haven't lost much, but they haven't bought much. I think their team's getting a bit like deadwood now. But they're going to stay up, and hopefully they spend a bit more money next time. But yeah, Burnley are going to come 16th, in my opinion. If you think I'm talking quite quickly, it's because I just want to get this video like quick done as quickly as I can, because I know not everyone's going to want to sit through all like 20 minutes of it. So I want to make it 10 minutes at least, or maximum, So anyway, moving on. In 15th position, I am going with Norwich. Only the second promoted team I mentioned, and I think they're going to solidly stay up 15th. Well, they've just lost 4-1 to Liverpool, but I don't think that proves anything. I think they'll easily win games, even against a couple of big teams, you never know. But I think they're not going to be in mid-table, but they're not going to be near the bottom. 15th, a decent finish. Because they've brought in a couple of decent players, like Roberts, the winger on loan from City, Dermot, a good experienced striker from Switzerland, and Farman, a very experienced goalkeeper. And they haven't lost much at all, really. So they've actually had a good window. And that's why they're solidly coming 15th, but maybe they could push a bit higher next season. But yeah, Norwich to come 15th. In 14th, another newly promoted team, the highest finisher out of the 3 newly promoted, in my opinion. Aston Villa are going to come 14th, I think, because they've kept a lot of their good team, their good players. Obviously, they just about won on playoffs, but fair and square, obviously. And yeah, I think they're going to have a low mid-table finish, 14th place, high bottom finish in 14th place, because I think they are a good team. And they brought in Wesley, a young good striker, Douglas, a young midfielder from City, Target, a good left-back from Southampton, Tom Heaton from Burnley, and Tyrone Mings, a centre-back that they had on loan, and they permanently bought him now from Bournemouth. Good signings, and they haven't lost anyone, really. Honestly, I think they're going to have a good, solid season in 14th. Now getting to the mid-table part of it, Newcastle in 13th, in my opinion. Again, they've lost a couple of players, but they've actually bought money. Sorry, they've bought players with a lot of money. They've actually bought in Joelinton, a very good young, promising abroad striker. Saint Maximum, a very promising young winger. Andy Carroll back to his old club, so he could be good for them. But they've lost Jose Perez, a very good striker, but they've replaced him. And Hosselu, so he doesn't mean much though. Hosselu didn't really play much. So they've actually had a very good window. That's why I think they'll finish solidly in 13th place. Again, it might take them time to finish a bit higher, but in 13th, I'm going with Newcastle. Now we're getting to the mid-table part of it, and I think in 12th is going to be Bournemouth. They haven't actually lost any of their players, so they've got a good team anyway, and they finished around mid-table last year. But they haven't really bought a lot of players to push them a lot higher. This Dan Juma guy, don't know what much about him, but he cost them like 20 million, so he looks quite good. They've got Billing, Huddersfield centre mid, he looks quite good. Harry Wilson on loan from Liverpool, a good winger. They've lost Moussa and Mings. They didn't mean too much for them, really, though. So they've actually had a very, very good window, but maybe get a few more quality players next time. But first, 12th place for Bournemouth. Great finish. Now, in 11th, I'm going with Watford. Quite harsh, because, they could have finished 7th or 8th last year, but they ended up finishing, last season, but they ended up finishing 11th. And I think they'll come there again, because I think other teams are going to be stronger now and go higher, but I'm doing what I believe. I think Watford will come 11th. They've had a great window. They've bought in Sarr, the very young winger, for 27 million, actually, so that's quite good. Craig Dawson, a very good centre-back for experience and stuff. They brought in Danny Welbeck as well. Now their strikers are very open, because we know Danny Welbeck's a good striker on his day. He needs to be fit and not injured, and then he'll be good for Watford. And they've lost Luka Bakayo, a young winger / striker, which I thought they could keep, but they've got him for 20 million when they've got 20 million for him. So it's a good window for Watford. And Luka Bakayo shouldn't be a problem for them. I love their team. In 10th place, dead on mid-table, I think Wolves. They came 7th last year. You could think, they could get there again, maybe even higher. But no, because they've got Europa League football, that might push them down a little bit. But a couple spaces, I don't think too much. Also, other teams have got stronger. So I think Wolves will come 10th. They've had a great window, actually, They've permanently bought Jimenez and Dendoncker, and they've bought Neto, good, solid, experienced goalkeeper, and Crotone, a very good young prospect striker. So they've had a very good window. They've not lost much at all, and a couple of their young players have gone on loan, so that's good for them. They could get some game time. I think Wolves will have another solid season in 10th place. In ninth place, we're getting to the business end of it now. I think it's going to be Leicester. I bet slightly. They finished mid-table last year, but I think they're going to be slightly higher. I don't even know where they probably finished last year, but it was around this area. But I think they're going to be slightly higher. They've improved their team very, very well. They've brought in Tielemans permanently. They've brought in Jose Perez from Newcastle for 30 million, so a great striker. This Pratt, sort of like midfielder guy, he looks alright, but I don't know much about him. But they've lost Maguire and they haven't replaced him. That could come back to bite them, but I think they'll manage. I think they've got a couple of centre backs like I don't even know. I can't think at the moment, but like Evans and Wes Morgan and stuff. I reckon they could be okay. Maybe do business in January, but I think Leicester will have a solid season again and finish 9th. In 8th and just missing out on Europa League football, I think West Ham. Obviously, I don't like them. They're rivals and stuff, but I love some of their players. They've done so well. They've had a great window because they've brought in Sebastian Haller, a great youngish striker, 24 years old, a bit more potential, and he's proved it with lots of goals in the German league already. Fornal is a very 22-year-old young, promising attacking midfielder who has good potential, and a very good goalkeeper with experience of Roberto. So they've done well in the window. They lost on Arnautovic, that hurts a bit. Players like Perez and Aubameyang. So they've not lost a lot of good players apart from Arnautovic, but they've replaced them by good other players coming in. So I think they're going to have a very good season. West Ham are going to come 8th. In 7th, just clinching that Europa League spot, I think you know what I'm going to say. I think Everton. The reason why I think Everton are going to finish in 7th is because great window, outstanding window. They've signed Moise Kean, a very young, promising striker from Juventus. Only like 18, 19 years old, so he's great. They've permanently signed Gomez, who was with them before. He's a great player. Sidibe on loan is a right back that's really, really good. Fabian Delph with experience and stuff, so they've signed very well. They've lost Lookman, who's got potential, but I don't think it means too much for them now. But they've lost Idrissa Gana Gueye, or however you say his name, and he is a very solid defensive midfielder, and they've lost him. They haven't properly replaced him, but they have in a way that with Delph and stuff. So I think they're still going to have a very solid season. That won't matter too much, and they could just work on him in January or next season. But I think clinching Europa League spot is going to be Everton. Now, this is the bit we all care about. This is the top 6, the important part, and I think most people are going to put Chelsea in 6th. The reason why I think they're going to finish there is the transfer ban affects them. If they've been able to buy players, they might have finished 3rd or 4th. You never know, but I just don't know. They've obviously bought Kovacic. He was on loan and they've permanently bought him for 40 million. That's okay, but he wasn't that good for them. So you never know. And Pulisic, but they actually bought him last season. So he's come into their team, I suppose, but they haven't bought him as a transfer. So those 2 players could be okay for them. But obviously they've not bought anyone else, and they've lost Hazard. Higuain was on loan at them. Their drink water's gone, but they don't care about that. But to lose Hazard makes a massive difference. They're still going to, be okay, not embarrassing, but I think Chelsea are going to finish 6th, and, they might need to work on their team next season. In 5th, I've gone with, and just missing out on Champions League, Manchester United. And it's harsh because they've strengthened in defence, but not so much in attack. They've lost, obviously, like Lukaku, and they've lost Herrera, Valencia, players they don't really care about, actually. But with Lukaku going, they haven't really replaced him. They're just relying on Rashford. They've bought in Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, 80 million from Maguire, which is ridiculous. 50 million for Wan-Bissaka, ridiculous. But they're good players and they will fix their defence out a lot. They needed to work in defence and they have. And Daniel James is a good winger, but good young winger anyway. But it's not enough. They needed to sign more midfielders and more attack, and they haven't because of Lukaku leaving and stuff and Herrera going. But they kept Pogba. So I think a solid season, but still not Champions League for them. I think Man United are going to finish 5th. So, in 4th, getting the last remaining possible Champions League place, Arsenal. The reason being is they've done well on the transfer. They've got a solid team now. That's why I think they finished above Man United and Chelsea, of course, and all the rest. But they've signed, obviously, Nicolas Pepe, 72 million record fee. He looks amazing, that winger. Salabia, that they've loaned back, and they bought him, and he's a very young prospect centre-back. Ceballos from Real Madrid on loan, very good centre-mid. Tierney, the left back, they finally bought him from Celtic. And then also David Luiz from Chelsea. So they've had a brilliant window. They've strengthened a lot. Maybe they could have strengthened even more in defence. Maybe more in the central midfield role as well. But they've had a good window. They've lost, obviously, the Ramsey. They had to lose him, obviously, from last year, him signing for Juventus, and Petr Cech as well. So they've had a brilliant window. But I don't think they're going to finish any higher than 4th place. Let's not forget Arsenal. I don't like them, obviously. So don't worry, I'm not just stitching you up. I actually think you'll come 4th. I'm not saying you're going to be like, 5th, 6th. So no one say I'm being a bad Spurs fan, because I'm not. Because I don't like Arsenal, but I'm being realistic in my predictions and I'm putting them in 4th. In 3rd, I am going with my boys, Tottenham. We're not going to see Liverpool, in my opinion. We could push them far. I think we've had like the best transfer, one of the best transfer windows. But team quality, Liverpool and City are better than us. But obviously we brought in Jack Clark on loan. He's gone. Sorry, we bought Jack Clark permanently, but he's gone back on loan, the young winger. So we'll have him next season. On Ndombele, fixing the midfield amazingly. He'll be so good for us. He's such a quality defensive midfielder. Ryan Sessegnon, the young winger / wing back / left back. He can left-sided player. He's very versatile, and he's a great young addition to our team. And Lo Celso as well. A very promising attacking / centre midfielder with lots of potential at 23 years old. And Ndombele 22 as well, so they've actually bought younger players, which is what we like to do. They're great players to strengthen our team, but we've kept Eriksen, we've kept Ali, we've kept Son and Kane and Vertonghen and Alderweireld and Rose and Lloris. We've kept all our strong players and stuff. It's amazing. So I think we could have a solid season. We came 4th last year. Should have come 3rd, but we played poor in the end, towards the end of the season. So I think we'll come 3rd. But maybe push Liverpool and City a little bit, but yeah, I think Tottenham are going to come first. And just to clarify, we need to win something, a Carabao Cup, FA Cup, anything. We came close to the Champions League, and we've come close to the league before, but we just got to win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. We need something, because we haven't won something in like 12 years. Anyway, we're coming to the end of it now. 2nd place, I'm going with Liverpool. Yet again, City are going to win the league for a 3rd year in a row, but we'll get to them in a minute. Liverpool to come 2nd, probably. Maybe not push City as far. Maybe they'll be closer to Tottenham on points, but they're still going to come 2nd fair and square with a few points gap at least anyway, probably. Because they've not signed anyone. They've signed Adrian on a free for a backup goalkeeper. That's okay. But nothing else. I know they've got a strong team, but Man City signed a couple of players. You know, you've always got to strengthen in your team and stuff. And they've lost Ings and Mignolet. It doesn't mean much, but there's nothing else to say really about Liverpool. This is a quick team to talk about because they haven't really signed anyone. They haven't lost anyone, so it's their team staying the same. Obviously, they've not lost Mane and Salah and Firmino and Van Dijk. They've kept all their great players. But, you know, they should sign someone next season. But I think Liverpool are going to come, or January, but I think Liverpool are going to come 2nd. Finally, in 1st place, Man City, obviously, as you know. Just too good, aren't they? Hopefully, you know, they get injuries, a few of their players, or some players want to leave and they just collapse. I don't know. But it's not much to say, but like they're just too good. What do we do to stop them? City are going to come 1st. Man City are going to win it again because they've still even strengthened with Cancelo, one of the world's best fullbacks in the world, and Rodri, a great young defensive midfielder at 23 years old or whatever. He's so young, he's good. And they've lost Danilo, fullback there, they didn't play a lot. Douglas Luiz, a young player, they didn't really play a lot. And Delphi, they didn't play a lot at all. So they've not lost much at all, and they've bought in solidly. And they've still kept Aguero, Jesus, Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Sane. It just goes on and on and on. Mahrez, I don't know if I said him or not. De Bruyne, it goes on and on and on. And yeah, I mean, they lost company, but, you know, he's older now. He's older, so they don't care. So I think City, yet again, they're going to come 1st. Which is a lot better. So I hope you like my predictions. Please write in the comments anything you didn't hear or anything you don't like, or what you think your predictions are. I'd love to know. But they're my Premier League predictions. I might do some sort of transfer talk in a few weeks' time. But obviously there's holiday vlogs coming with only one with the Butlins vlog, which will be one of my best videos ever with my GoPro. I'll be using that a lot, and a lot of football vlogs and stuff happening and live reactions. So stay tuned, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, see you later. Peace.